Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to navigate to our IronCAD file. Um, it may be located up here in the shortcuts if it's been opened recently, but if it hasn't, you're going to have to go to the bottom to the IronCAD folder and you open that up. And inside of the IronCAD folder, you will see an IronCAD 2014 X64 shortcut. That's the one we want to click on. Make sure you get the correct program. Once you get to this screen, we're going to select create a new scene document. Make sure that's the one selected there and click OK. Now we're going to choose our units of measurement, which are going to be metric in our case, and we're going to select blue for our background and click OK. Once IronCAD opens up here, let me just go over a few of the items found in the interface. Over here on the left-hand side, we have the scene browser. This is important. It has the scene, the properties, and it also has search. We're going to leave it at scene for right now, but we're going to use this later on. Let me show you how to get this back. If for some reason somebody has closed out of it like this, and you want to get it back open. Also, let me show you how we get the catalog browser back if someone has closed out of it. We're going to go to the Common tab, and under the Common tab, you can see here we have a scene browser. So we select scene browser, there's our scene browser, and we have a catalog browser, here's our catalog browser. Also notice under catalog browser we have status bar. Somebody may close the status bar. You can see now we no longer have the magnifying glasses down here. We can get that back by going to catalog browser and checking status bar. Now we're ready to take a look at our units of measurement. This is an important place to start. If you're not sure what units you're using, click in here and under length, ensure that they are set to the correct measurement. In our case, we're going to be using millimeters. And we click OK. Now that we have our units of measurement set, our scene browser, our catalog browser, we've gone over those items. We're going to drag in our first block from the catalog browser, just drop it in the middle of our screen. Now we're going to click on this block one time. This is a left click, and it pops up some push pins. When you hover over them, you can see you get a hand. We're going to right click on one of the push pins, and we get a menu, and we're going to select Edit Size Box. Now we're going to be able to come in here and give the length, width, and height of the rectangle or box on our screen. So the length of the box, we're going to say is 100. Let's make the width be 40, and let's make the height 40 as well. And we will go ahead and click OK. Now we can solidify those choices by simply clicking in the blue area. And this is all left clicks unless I designate it as a right click, and I'll verbally do so. if I am right clicking. Okay, so now we're ready to go to the feature menu here. So we click on feature here up in the top left-hand corner. Right below feature, we see this extrude wizard. We want to hit the drop-down arrow. We want to make sure that we always get this extrude wizard and not extrude. So we're going to select extrude wizard, and then we're going to click on the face of our object where we're going to begin carving away this block and creating our shape, our desired shape. So to begin with, let me just go over a couple of commands that are often helpful. The fit scene right down here. If we click this left-hand magnifying glass, it enlarges our object to fill our screen. If we click on this view cube, we can select which side of the object we want to look at specifically. So if we want to select the top, we could always just click here. We can click on top, and now you see we are ready to select top. So let's select the top. We'll click on the green dot in the middle. But before I do that, let me just go over the orbit command. The orbit command is down here under the right magnifying glass, this little arrow, orbit. And now we can see how we can orbit this block to select any side that we want to select. And this is an easy way to do it. Okay, but of course, we're going to come back to the top and we're going to click this green dot in the middle. Now we're going to select remove material, and I'm going to click on finish. When you get this message, or if you get this message, click on the do not show this dialog box again, and I would recommend saying continue without change. So I'm going to continue without change. I'm not clicking on this again because purposes of demonstrating to my class, I'm going to leave that open, and I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to draw a couple of lines. We're going to use a two-point line tool. The two-point line tool is a very powerful tool. It lets us create lines that are exact dimensions. So for example, if we right-click down in the corner here, we right-click and do not let go. Notice I have a green dot that appears when I'm right on the corner. I right-click on that green dot and I do not let go of the click. I hold it until I drag the line partially up, and now I let go. And when you right-click and drag and then let go, like I just showed you, you can enter the length that you want this line to be. In our case, let's go ahead and enter 20. And we click OK. We're not going to change the slope here. So we enter 20 and we click OK. Okay, so we have a line that is exactly 20 millimeters in length. If we wanted to ever verify the length of a line, if you come down to the selection tool, you can click the selection tool on your status bar, go over to any line, simply click the line, it will turn yellow, showing it's selected, and you can see over here the length, angle, start point, end point, etc. So we could also change the length here. If we entered in 30 in this length field, you can see it would update our line to 30. So that's a good feature to know of. Now we're going to come back to a two-point line, and I'm going to show you how to extrude something. Let's say we wanted to extrude a triangle. I'm going to right-click on the end point of this line. Very important that we get that green dot. We right-click and drag without letting go of the right click. Once we have drug over, we let go. Let's put in a length of 30 here and click OK. Now we're going to do two left clicks. We're going to left click on this dot and we're going to left click on this dot. That is effectively joined all of the line segments together into a triangle, and now everything inside of the triangle is going to be cut away when we click the green finish button. So we click the finish button, and you can see it's cut away. Now let me explain a couple of things here. If for some reason it did not cut everything away, for example, maybe it left a notch that looks something like this, and I left clicked here on my blue screen, and then I left click again, and you can see I have this notch. Okay, and maybe I wanted that to go all the way through. To make that go all the way through, simply come back over here to your scene browser and the plus sign in front of the part, click on the extrude, and we can change the distance that this went through our object. In our case, let's make it go all the way through. And we click here again, and now we can see we've taken that triangle off of the corner of our block. Let's go ahead and let me show you how to edit that. Maybe we didn't want a triangle off of the corner of our block. Maybe we wanted a square, or maybe we wanted some block around the triangle. We can come back in here to block. If we click block, we could edit the block so that it is a larger size. And when we do so, you'll see that now we have the triangle inside of our block. Okay, so if you didn't see that there, after I pulled the block push pins, I did click on the blue area to solidify my change. Now let's come over here to extrude, click the plus sign in front of it, and let's right click on the cross section and edit. So I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to change it. Instead of being a triangle, let's make it be a rectangle. So I would delete this line. I select it and press the delete key on my keyboard. And I selected it by left clicking on it. Now I'm pressing the delete key on my keyboard. Now I'm going to go to 2-point line. I click 2-point line. It turns orange and yellow. It's highlighted. We know that that's the tool we're working with. We left click right here, and see these green lines that follow my cursor? Okay, the green lines tell me that my lines are running at straight. And you'll see when I get to the top here, okay, I get a nice green line that appears horizontally and goes over to the initial line segment, showing me that I am even with that initial line segment. So then I can click, and I know these two lines are nice and straight and square to each other. And they're the same length. So now all I'm going to do is I am going to left click here, and I'm going to left click here. And I'm going to click on finish. And just like that, it has, to solidify my responses, I always have to click in this blue area here, and there you go. We now have a block with a rectangle in it or square in it instead of a triangle going through it. So let me show you a few more tricks with extrude. I'm going to right click on the cross section here. I'm going to select edit again. A common error that people get with extrude. If we wanted to, for example, let me show you. If I wanted to create a small feature over here on this side, I'm going to zoom in. I don't want to zoom in too far. I'll do a fit scene because I want to show you what can be a common problem. And to get this squared away again, if I come down here to my view cube and I do top, okay, it takes me to a nice square view after the orbit command. Sometimes that's helpful. So I'm going to do a 2-point line. I'm going to select the 2-point line. I'm going to start right here in the corner, and I'm going to drag up. And I'm going to say I want to, if I can drag up however far, let go and enter I'm going to enter 1 millimeter, and press OK. Now you can see this line segment is so small, I can hardly see it on my screen. Let's enlarge that with a window zoom. So we click the arrow here, we select window zoom, and then we left click one time right above this point and drag, and then unclick, let go of the left click, and it will zoom in on this tiny 1 millimeter length line. So now let's go ahead, let's do a 2-point line off of here. I'm going to right click, I'm going to come over here. I can change the angle while I'm going. If I press the tab key, okay, it changes to the input coordinates, it changes to length, and now it changes to angle. So if I want this to be at a 45-degree angle, I could type in 135 and press enter. A line comes down like this, and I'm just going to click on OK. And now I'm going to say, let's go to 2-point line. Let's connect this right here to right here. Okay, so let's take off this little triangle. I'll do the trim command. I'm going to trim this line right here by left clicking it. And now I'm going to click on finish. And you can see when I rotate, okay, I have this little triangle that comes off the bottom, and I click twice in this blue area to solidify that change. You can see that little bevel I put on the corner. So I showed you the window zoom and how to make that little bevel. Common errors. Let's right click on the cross section here. I'm going to go to edit. It's very common if you get an error that you have a line that may be sitting here somewhere. So I'm going to just right click right here. I'm going to come down just a little bit, click right there. Okay, that one's pretty easy to see. I might have another line here. If we go ahead and click finish. Okay, now it's given us this message, and it's saying cross section is empty or contains outlines that overlap or are not closed. Notice how these lines turn purple. These purple lines are the lines that we need to fix. So if we want to fix them, we have to click edit cross section. If we cancel our edit, everything that we did since our last finish is going to go away. So let me show you that, but I'm going to lose my work. So cancel edit. Everything is gone that I did since the last finish command. I lost all of, in some cases, you may have worked for 10 or 15 minutes, and then you press cancel edit, and you lose all of that work when all you needed to do was one small fix. So let me show you how to make that one small fix without losing your work. You come in here, let's edit, and let's do a 2-point line. If I wanted to come down here, and then I'm going to say 20, enter, and I'm going to come over another 20, and then I'm going to just connect this to be a triangle. Okay, so if, for example, I have a small line, sometimes these small lines can be so tiny, they're hard to see. So, as I sit here like this, it may look like everything's okay, but when I go to click on finish, okay, it's not going to extrude. And that's because I have a line that is not enclosing an area. In this case, it's this line right here. So I need to get rid of that line. And if I were to do a window zoom, we could see it better. But we want to click on edit cross section. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to do a window zoom. I'm going to zoom in right on this area. And now we can see this little purple line is what's keeping us from extruding. So I'm going to select it and I'm going to press the delete key, and away it went. So now we can finish. And click here, and there we have extruded another triangle from our object. So there's a little bit of familiarity with IronCAD and the extrude command. I've also gone over your fit scene. I've gone over the orbit command. I've gone over how to do a window zoom. I have gone over how to do a top view, fit scene again. Maybe we want to do the back view. Okay. Maybe we want to do the bottom view. Okay. But you know how to change the different views now. I've shown you how to use your selection tool to select line lengths. I've shown you how to edit extrudes over here in your scene browser, right? Clicking and edit. I'm going to cancel this one. And I've also shown you how to find that extrude to edit. You have to click the plus sign in front of the part that you're wanting to find that extrude to edit. And then we right click and we can select edit. I've also shown you under the common tab how to turn your scene browser on and off, as well as your catalog browser and your status bar. And I'm going to go ahead and get the status bar back, the scene browser back, and the catalog browser back. And also, guys, one thing that often happens is people right-click here and minimize the ribbon. If that ribbon is gone, it may be very helpful for you to right-click and uncheck that minimize the ribbon. That will bring it back. I hope you've enjoyed this little tutorial in IronCAD.